All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Mukakadash. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles and my elder bishop, a great millstone, who rule well and teaching us this truth 100% securely. And I'd like to give a salutation to the men out there on the highways and byways pushing the truth throughout the four corners of the earth. And also I'd like to give a salutation to the Akim and Akwak who are listening and studying to show thyself approved. This is Brother Bayan from the Tulsa, Oklahoma, Hebrew Israelite Camp, coming back to you with another quick lesson. And it's pretty much a quick lesson going into the downfall of America, aka Babylon the Great. Okay? And I pretty much just did a quick chat GPT search. I just asked a simple question because, today marked the 250th year of America, aka Babylon the Great, being in existence. Okay, and as historically been speaking, 250 years is the average that a kingdom will, last, or the reign of the kingdom will be over. Okay, and right here, I asked a question and just get straight to the point, and it just lists a list of 7 things based on the whole cycle of a kingdom or an empire. Okay, you got number 1, the age of pioneer, age of conquest, age of commerce, age of affluence. Then it says the age of intellect, and then right here is where we're at right now here in America, aka Babylon the Great, and it says the age of decadence and decline. Okay, and so we can pretty much go down in this list and pretty much just breaks it down, right? Because it says common signs included. So before I read this, let's get this. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, and that is the highest, which is talking about Yahweh. He's going to send his only begotten son, which his name is Yahweh Shah, whom the world isn't called Jesus Christ. He's going to come back and he's going to tear down this place. Okay, and then he's going to establish a new kingdom on earth. All right, as the scripture says, the earth abideth forever, according to Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 4. Okay, and so the sign that the scripture is speaking about, well, we can see part of it, and this is historically, this is what the signs normally you'll see whenever the kingdom is getting ready to fall. Okay, so this the first one, we can pretty much just hit a check mark on each of these lists right here, right? Common signs include political corruption, check. You see political corruption throughout America, aka Babylon the Great. Okay, and the next one is heavy debt and financial strain, check. That's the America as we know it is $1 trillion in debt right now. Okay, decline in trust and intuition. So there you got people in America that do not trust the government right now. So actually we can go and we read that where the scripture speaks about there should be sedition among men, invading one another. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So the course of their actions stand in their power, meaning that people in America is going to take matters into their own hand due to the fact that they don't trust this current legal government system. Okay, so we read that in it is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. The point being verse 10, but we start at verse 14 because it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draws nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their action thou shalt stand in their power. Okay, the course of their actions, meaning that the people of America, aka Babylon the Great, is no longer going to trust your modern day kings and princes, and they're going to take matters into their own hand, especially when the food starts to decline, right? Right now, everybody's in a spirit of mirth, okay? Everybody is fully distracted, on all of the, you have the World Cup series, all of these things that's taking place. Everybody distracted, so they think America is going to continue, right? But slowly but surely, all of these things are taking place, as you can see in this list. Okay, heavy debt that goes into Habakkuk. We read about that. Let's get that Habakkuk. I think it's 2:16. Habakkuk 2. Right, that's Habakkuk 2:16, with that shameful spewing be on our glory. And Salaki, bear with me for a minute. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was. The precept that I'm looking for is woe unto them that ladeth himself with thick clay. Loosely paraphrasing. Right. This is Habakkuk chapter 2:6, not 16. It's 2 and 6. All right. Habakkuk chapter 2:16. It says, "Shall not." Hold on. Let me. Right. We'll start at verse 5. Habakkuk 2:5, and it says, "Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepers at home." This is very talking about the rulers of America, aka Babylon the Great. They're neither keeper at home. They always in somebody else's business, going to different countries, trying to dictate how they should live. All right. Who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto himself all nation. All right. America is a pretty much diverse country, which is basically all type of people is here in America. Okay, so if what he said, gather unto himself all nation, and heap unto him all people. And right here in verse 16 it says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increases that which is not his, how long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay." Okay, when you go to the word ladeth himself with thick clay, it goes into heavy debt. Okay, and that goes back to what the list that we just got to looking at in the chat, where it talked about a kingdom. All of these things is happening simultaneously. You have political corruptness, you have the distrust in the current system, and then you have heavy debt or financial strain. That's what it says, right? So here it is.
Strong's H 5671. Have teat.
It's the Hebrew word aptit, and it said weight of pledge, heavy debt. Okay, so the ladies themselves with thick clay, and they're talking about America, aka Babylon the Great. Okay, so you go back, let's go down the list again. Political corruption. All right, that's plain and simple. You got Trump. It's obvious, no. So there's political corruption, and right here in America, aka Babylon the Great. Heavy debt, financial strain, declining trust and intuition, internal division, and factionalism. Right, and that's where even Yahweh Shah said, "A kingdom divided against himself shall not stand." All right, dependence on foreign labor or mercenary force. All right, so that's twofold. Dependent on foreign labor. Right, so America is known for taking up their factory, they manufacture it and shipping it to other countries. Okay, and then it says mercenary force, which meaning that they have ICE from different countries, army from different countries. Okay, that are pretty much enforcing foreign laws or so on and so forth, man. Okay. And then different right here, declining birth rate or weakening civic participation. No, the birth rate is very low. Nobody is really trying to have babies anymore. They complain that it costs too much to have children. Okay, and that's that. And it says loss of shared identity or purpose. All right, and that goes into people are losing faith in the American dream. You've seen a lot of videos that talk about the American dream is a fraud, okay? And so that's what that is, loss of identity. All right, so I can give precepts on all of that, but these are the prophecies that Yahweh Yahushua said it was going to take place. Let's go back and you read second Esdras chapter 9 and verse 3. And it said, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquake and upward of the people in the world. You see? So earthquake, that was a recent earthquake in Venezuela. There's been earthquake year after year, month after month, all year round. Okay? Small, great, it don't matter. It's still an earthquake. All right? And then it says upwards of the people. Okay? Meaning that people are fighting against their government. All right? This is not just here in America, aka Babylon the Great, but in different countries like Europe. At one point in time, it was in Nigeria. All right? All of those places is taking place, man. So that's the prophecy. In verse 4, and it said, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. And it said, for like as all that is, so like, let me read that again. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Okay, and so the end is being made manifest, and clearly the sign that we just got to reading, all of those are taking place right now here in America, aka Babylon the Great. Political corruption, heavy debt, declining trust and intuition, internal division, dependence. And then right here, they say factionalism. Okay, you have the different factions, you know, that are kind of branched off of the KKK. You have the Proud Boys and those other factions that are taking place in America as well too. All right. Dependence on foreign labor, check. All right, declining birth rate, check. Loss of shared identity or purpose. Okay, so yeah, those are the signs, and those are the signs that Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua is going to visit the world which He made. All right, and then number 7, and it says collapse, transformation, or renewal. A kingdom does not always disappear completely. Usually, one of 3 things happen. It is conquered by another power. It breaks into smaller states. It reforms to begin a new cycle. Okay, and this is why when we listen to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, they always mention that we are living in the revived Roman Empire, and that's exactly what America is. Okay, the revived Roman Empire, and that's pretty much going to be the last of the Roman Empire. Okay, because after this, it ain't gonna be no more kingdoms like this. You know, where the laws of the land are stacked against the laws of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's going to be last. It's going to be over after that. All right, and then we're going to receive a righteous kingdom. Okay, so you know, I just wanted to read those 2 points right there, just to show that America, aka Babylon the Great, will be destroyed, man. So let's get this, because I wasn't gonna make this lesson too long. This is just a quick lesson, quick reminder that we almost out of here. All right. Matter of fact, I just thought about this precept. It's in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, where it says, "Better is the end of things than the beginning thereof." I believe that's in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, or it could be in Proverbs. Trying to refresh my memory on that. I think it's in Proverbs. Bear with me for a minute. Let's go see if pull it up in a blue letter real quick. It says, "Better is the end of things." Bear with me for a minute, Salakia. Let's see if it pop up like that. Yeah, Ecclesiastes chapter 7. In verse 8, let's go to it. I thought it was verse 12, but it's verse 8. Right? Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 8, and it says, "Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient is the spirit is better than the proud in spirit." Right, and that's it right there. Better is the end of things than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit than the proud in spirit. Okay, so that's the balance. All right, and so remember when we look into that whole list based on the cycle of a kingdom, you saw the beginning of it. Okay, that was the worst time for the Hebrew Israelites at in those particular time, right? Because you had the age of the pioneer, the age of commerce. All of those times was worse. Okay, it was bad for us because we had to live through those, calamity, those punishment. All right, but now we're towards the end of it. All right, that's what better is the end of the thing. Better, we're in a better place now because we get to go home. Okay, we get to see the last of America, aka Babylon the Great, man. And now we get to go home. Now we get to receive a righteous reward. Lord willing, we're a part of that number. Okay, Lord willing, we're a part of that number, man. So, yeah, I wanted to read that, and then let's get Isaiah chapter 47, or even we can go to even Obadiah, because it says that towards the end that the information what the chat was saying that sometimes the kingdom don't all the way be disappeared, but in Obadiah that's not the case. Okay, we're going to see the last. We're going to witness the last of America, aka Babylon the Great, and it's going to be no more in existence. We get Obadiah, and then we'll end it off with Isaiah. I'll be looking at for that precept, the house of Jacob, right? So it's Obadiah verse 18, and it says, we'll start at verse 17. All right, said, but upon the Mount Zion shall be deliverance. All right, and that's why that's why that precept is heavy. When we read Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 8, because we're about to receive that deliverance. We're looking forward for that deliverance, right? And it said, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possession. Okay, and that's talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil. All right, who had us in derision, who had us in captivity all these years. All right, now we're going to possess them. Okay, we can read about that in Revelation 13 and 10. All right, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. All right, in verse 18, in the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, in the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua has spoken it. Okay, so when we go into that chat, when it talked about collapse, transformation, or renewal, a kingdom does not always disappear completely. Well, that's not the case for Esau, Edom, the so-called white man kingdom. Okay, the Lord said that kingdom is going to be done away with completely. Okay, right? Let's read that again, right? Because it says, and devour them. All right, verse 18 again from the top. The house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua has spoken it. Okay, so the chat got that wrong, but it's true for the revived Roman Empire. That's exactly what happened. But this time around, it ain't gonna be no more remaining in the house of Esau, man. So that's gonna be it. All right, and so we ended off with Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1, which is pretty much don't talk about our power. All right, our power, which is Yahweh Shah, who's gonna come back and he's gonna put the flame to this place, man. And that's why we're excited at the same time. All right, Isaiah chapter 47 and 1, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughters of the Chaldean. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy lock, make bare the lead, uncover the thighs, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and when I will not meet thee as a man. Okay, the Lord Yahweh Shah said He's not going to meet thee as a man, means He's going to come in His angelic power. All right, and that's what's going to happen, man. So that's pretty much the point. Lord willing, is satisfying. With that, let me give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakadash. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles, to my elder bishop, a great millstone, who rule well and teaching us the truth 100% securely. Shalom, shalom, Kwam Yasharala, shalom.